Hello and welcome to another video. As I talked about on Monday, you guys, this is the finished version, I guess, of this drawing that I did of my OC Orion, and I'm just coloring it in here for you guys, like I said I was going to do. I guess you've seen the title at this point, whatever I decided to title this, but there's a little bit of a funny story wrapped up in this sort of drawing. You're going to see me go through like the whole process. I'm going to color it in. All sorts of fun stuff. But when I got to the end of the artwork, I sort of kind of ran into a bit of a snag. So you guys, I decided that I was going to color this in on sticker paper. I did it last week and it worked out really well. And so I was like, I'll do it again because I have this page in my finished artwork sketchbook that is a drawing of this character Orion, and I didn't like it and I never finished it, and I've been kind of wanting to like pull it out of the sketchbook for a long time, like actually rip it out of the book. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted the sketchbook to be like all the way filled with like drawings on every single page, and like that's like the whole point of it. It's just I have it set aside as like a finished artwork thing, so I didn't want to like have a page where that it was like very clearly ripped out, because then I felt like I would have been like cheapening it and like cheating myself sort of kind of. And so I was like, I guess it would be fine if I just went ahead and stuck something else in there on that page, so that way every page would be completed. So that's what I was going to do with this picture. So I finished it, I colored it, it looked really nice. It felt pretty okay, you know what I mean, you guys? Like, it's not like the best picture I ever drew, but it was significantly better than the old one that I did. So yeah, I was going to stick it in there. And I got to the point where I was going to stick the artwork onto the piece of paper. Here's the thing, though, about sticker paper, you guys. This sticker paper in particular is very thin. Very, very thin. And I kind of knew that because of the way that the markers interact on the paper. It acts like very thin marker paper, which is why it was good for markers. But the issue was there is a drawing underneath that I was trying to cover up with this sticker paper. So when I placed it on top, you could very clearly see the drawing underneath of it. And I had like recorded this whole process for you guys to see. I'm not going to show you now because honestly what I do after this point is like a little bit manic, basically. So I stuck it down and I was like, okay, you can very clearly see it from the other side. And I was like, it's fine. I'm going to leave it. And so I was going to leave it. And then I was looking at it and I was like, I cannot leave this. I can't leave this like this. I can't live this way, you guys. Because you can very clearly see the other drawing. And the whole point of using the sticker paper was to cover up that drawing. And so I was like, I have to pull it off. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to pull off a fucking sticker, especially a paper sticker, which this is a paper sticker. That bitch would not come off, you guys. And so I was like, okay, it's fine. We're going to pull it off. It's going to be okay. So I was pulling it off very slowly and it was coming off. And then I'm like pulling it and it's coming off. But as I'm pulling it off, if you guys have ever pulled up a sticker, you know, when you pull it off, it gets like this sort of thing where it like curls in on itself. So the piece of paper is very large. To be honest, it's like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and maybe even like not even those exact dimensions, but it's around that size. And so I'm pulling it off and I'm trying to keep it from curling in on itself, but I'm still having to like use both hands to like apply pressure to like keep the book down while I peel the paper off. And I'm trying to do it lightly so it's not ripping, but also trying to do it hard enough and fast enough so that way it doesn't curl in on itself. So I'm doing my best to like pull it off and it's curling, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't want it to stick to itself. And then it's starting to stick to itself. And then I'm like, fuck, it's sticking to itself, you guys. And I was like, damn it. And I'm like, okay, we'll just pull it off faster so it can't have a chance to stick to itself. And then it starts to rip. And I'm like, fuck, no, it's ripping. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like freaking out. My mind's like racing really fast. And I'm like, what am I going to do? It's ripping. It's getting stuck. It's like sticking to itself. I'm like, we just got to keep going. Thankfully, when it was ripping, it was like not all the way, like ripping all the way through. Like, it's just like the back layer, the sticky layer was the part that was ripping up, and I was like, it's fine, I can like save this, right? So I'm pulling it, and it's getting like even more wrinkled, like the paper is like kind of folding inward a little bit, so like the edges or like the inward parts of the paper are sticking together, and it's got like this weird wrinkle in the center, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm pulling it off as much as I can, and I'm like, this is not gonna work because I don't know what to do. And so eventually I pull it off and I get it free, and it's all wrinkled, it's all curled, it's sticking to itself, and it's so ugly, and my mind is just like, this is so ugly, I can't look at it anymore. And so in like a fit of like mania or like just rage, I just crumpled the whole thing and I threw it in the trash. So that's why this piece of art doesn't exist anymore. Honestly, you guys, I kind of feel bad about it because when I was working on this, I was having like sort of kind of a lot of trouble. I don't know why. I just was like, this is not coming out very good. I don't like it very much. Like, especially now, you see me doing the hair. I'm like, I was not enjoying the hair. I was just like, this is not coming out good. It doesn't look very good. And it's probably because I put the halo in the hair and it was getting in the way of me doing like the long strokes I like to do for the hair to make it actually look like hair, and it's like blocking it in a really weird way. And I was like, this fucking sucks. And I was not having a good time drawing this picture at all, or coloring it in anyway. I was just like, I don't like the way that it's coming out. And so I was kind of feeling like it was cursed. And then I got to the point after I did the markers, I went in with some colored pencil. I've been wanting to use my colored pencils more, you guys, and I've been wanting to use them a little bit as mixed media. I don't really do very many mixed media pieces. I mean, I guess technically you can count my drawings as mixed media because there's like ink and there's like marker, and those are technically two different media, and there's like paint to go with like the eyes, so food like the highlights and shit, but I don't really count that. So I really wanted to use my color pencils, so I used the color pencils over top of the marker, and it was adding a little bit more of depth in like the shadows and stuff, and like some pink for like his ears to show that it's like sort of kind of like full of blood, and that's a weird way to say it, but like the blushies, I put some over his eyes just to like help the way, just like to add some little bit more life into like his skin and stuff. And I did like the way that turned out. I do feel kind of bad about throwing it in the trash. Honestly, you guys, it was just not salvageable. I just really feel really bad about it because I got to the point at the end where I felt like I managed to like salvage it a little bit. Like I said, I didn't feel like it was going very well during the process part of it, and I think that probably added to like my sense of like dread when it started to like wrinkle and crinkle and stuff, because I had already felt like it was going really badly, and then I felt like I had managed to save it with the colored pencil, and then I felt like I had ruined it again. And I had ruined it because I ended up having to crumple it and throw it in the trash. But yeah, it was really weirdly stressful for me for a second there. So yeah, sorry that this is, in the trash now, but at least it gets to live on in the video, you guys. I mean, it would have been nice to have kept it in my sketchbook. That would be great. But, as an artist, I feel like artists are probably pretty used to like losing their artwork from time to time. I don't own every single piece of art that I have ever made. Like, I've made art and gave it away to people, and I've like made art that I hated and I ripped it up and I threw it in the trash. And I just think that that's like part of being an artist, is sometimes you like really hate your artwork, and sometimes you just end up losing it even if you liked it a lot. And I just think, I hate to do that like cliche thing where it's like it's the beauty in the fleeting, like nothing lasts forever, and so you have to find beauty in the things while they're here, which is like such bullshit. But I don't know if it's bullshit. I mean, there's some truth to that sort of statement, but it just feels a little bit pretentious. But I'm glad that I made the piece because it was really fun working with colored pencils again in like a mixed media sort of way. I don't actually think I've ever used colored pencils in a mixed media sort of way. I think whenever I use mediums like markers or pencils or paint or whatever, I think I'm typically drawn to like using one or the other. The sketchbook is probably the only one of the very few times I've decided to like try to do mixed media stuff. If it comes to like the very first page in my current sketchbook, that was a mixed media piece too, and I don't typically do that sort of thing, and so it was fun to try to mix the media together a little bit. A little bit unusual for me. I'm just a little sad that it ended up in the trash can. That's fine. When it came to using the colored pencils, I've been trying a little bit to blend things out a little bit, you guys. So all I used was two different shades of pink. These are Crayola markers. These are Crayola color pencils, so it's just literally pink and magenta, and I used just the tiniest bit of red in a little bit under the shadows and a little bit in his eyes, where like I like the deeper shadow for the iris, and so just a little bit of red, just the tiniest bit of red, you guys. I like adding pink and stuff to my drawings, like to character skin. It just feels like a little bit more lifelike and stuff, and so the magenta, I just wanted to use that for like the deepest, darkest shadow. And I've been trying to blend the colored pencils a little bit. I mean, I sort of kind of did that in the first drawing that I did for you guys with colored pencils, but yeah, I tried my best, you guys. I feel like it looks better after the colored pencils. I feel like, especially underneath his eyes, I don't know, it just looks so warm. I don't know, something about it I like. And then I just went ahead and did the background. That background sucks, you guys. I didn't like doing the background. I didn't know what to do. I kind of wanted to like draw like leave like a white space around him, so like it also gives the effect of a halo, but he already has a halo like thing on his head, so it's like double halo. That's stupid. So I didn't like the background at all, which is fine because like I said, it ended up in the trash, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know, I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't like just adding the yellow, and also the yellow was running out of ink, so it ended up being really patchy, and that's really sad. Also, hope that this artwork didn't, or like this video didn't turn out to be like a bummer for you guys. Honestly, I think this is a funny story. I know I made it seem like it's like sad and tragic or whatever, and I guess it is in like some certain sense of it, but honestly I think it's pretty funny. It made me laugh. After I was like, oh fuck, that sucked, but then I was like, that's kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, the artwork still exists in the form of this video, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. It would be nice to have it in my sketchbook, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it before I threw it in the trash, but it's fine, you guys. Like I said, there's something beautiful in the fleeting. So thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. I will go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.